So I've just recently been thinking a little about the following phrase, fake it till you make it. And if you don't know what that means, it basically means that if you're doing something, whatever it may be, let's say for instance, you're doing a presentation and you're nervous and maybe you're unprepared, fake it till you make it. So all that really means is just act very confident, act like nothing's wrong, and next thing you know, you're done with it and it wasn't that bad. And I actually really like the phrase because one thing I have noticed is a lot of the times when I do have this sort of mentality, especially for instance like presentations or in school, where you could say to some extent I think too much of myself, or I give myself this extra confidence from nowhere, it's always worked out for me. Literally. For instance, I remember, I think it was grade 11, we had this, I forgot what it's called, but essentially we it was like 30 students around in a circle with the teacher, and we all read different books, and we basically went from one student to the next, and we would talk about our books for like, I don't know, let's say every student gets like 2 to 5 minutes or so, maybe 2 to 4 minutes, and they basically had to provide some analysis or their like overall thoughts on the book and whatnot. And I remember you know, read the book. I had really good analysis. I was always a really good writer, but when it came to speaking, it wasn't the same thing. But I remember I was getting nervous and more nervous as it came closer to my turn, and I was essentially the last person from my group of the book, because there different groups. And I was the last one in my group that read the book to go, and so I was like, what should I say? Like they said some good points, and obviously I prepared for this, and I was gonna compare it to another book and my personal experiences. And what I noticed is when I started, I looked around and I got nervous, and my first initial speech portion, or whatever you want to call it, was shaky. I was definitely, you could tell that I sounded nervous. But as I continued speaking about it, I talked about another book and how they connect. I talked about my personal experiences, and I stopped caring about what other people thought, and I just tried to talk about what I knew best. And it turned out to be a really good speech or analysis or whatever you want to call it. And I got an A for that. I think back then in Canada, we had in high school like a letter system from 1 to 4. So I basically got a 4, or maybe it was a 4 plus. I don't remember, but no, it was a 4, which essentially is an A. And that might be a bit irrelevant to the overall message, fake it till you make it, because I wasn't really faking it. I was just being myself. But as I progressed further into the speech, I, what do you call it? I raised my voice. I stopped caring about what others thought of me, and I just established my point. I just said what I needed to say. And another example is, a lot of the times when you study for exams, you study as much as you can and you feel good about it. And what I usually do, or what I did last year, for instance, was, for example, my first math midterm for calculus, I studied and I was like, okay, well, I've studied long enough. I don't think there's anything else to do. And on the day of the exam, some people usually, look over their notes or whatnot, and I just watched YouTube just to calm myself. And the reason was because, hey, I've studied, I know my capabilities, I'll do great on it. Turns out I was the first person to finish in, I think the class was 80 minutes. I finished in about 30 minutes, and I got 100% for that. And I'm not trying to brag or anything, but I had full confidence in myself. And I think even outside of that, just other classes, sometimes you might not think that you have that capability of getting 100%. But as long as you truly believe in your mind that you can get 100%, it's very likely it will happen, or you will get a really good result. And that's not even BS. I think it's scientifically proven that what you say to yourself becomes reality. And obviously, if you're going to tell yourself every single day that you're going to become a millionaire and you don't really do anything to achieve that, not going to happen. But a lot of us think of us in very negative ways. Like, if something goes wrong, it ruins your whole day and you just feel like complete, the bad word. But a lot of the time when things go right or wrong, you think about yourself in a certain way and you overthink, and that really affects your overall, being. Like, it really does. Like, for instance, I remember when I did a one of my exams and I crushed it really good. I felt amazing afterwards. I was feeling amazing. I thought the best things about myself, and my week was amazing. I was feeling amazing. I studied harder for my next exam because I was feeling good. But then there's another time when I had a setback. I didn't do as good as I thought I would. And I was thinking about, am I really this stupid? Am I really this incapable of doing better than my friend? I was comparing myself to my friend, and he did better than me. And I thought, I studied so much more than him. Why am I so stupid? Am I even good enough for this? And that really affects you, really does, because maybe it's for a day or two, but you're really essentially programming yourself to kind of be a loser to some extent. You know what I'm trying to say? And I know this video is all over the place, but essentially all I'm trying to say is in this video is that, like, sometimes you're gonna be like, you're not gonna have the confidence. Sometimes you're gonna have to do things that you don't want to do. They're gonna be uncomfortable situations, but if you can, like, genuinely do your best and think that you're gonna do your best with, like, full confidence, I'm being serious, it changes things. Like, think about it. Most people that are successful, you could say that they were delusional, because if they didn't achieve what they achieved, you'd call them delusional. But they were delusional regardless, and they achieved what they wanted to achieve. So then you call them genius, you call them smart. But maybe they were all those things, but if they didn't achieve those things, they were delusional. So that's why you have to think delusional to begin with, and then actually do the work to achieve those things. And then everyone's going to be like, wow, you're so smart, you're so genius. It's the same thing with this channel. I'm not telling anyone about this channel, but if I told people about this channel and I send them the link and they saw, 5 subscribers, 10 views, whatever it may be, they'd be like, yo, you're wasting your time, buddy. Stop doing this. Go focus on other things. This is a waste of your time. You're delusional. You're not going to make it. But then next thing you know, let's say I didn't talk about it all. I send them the channel in a year's time has, let's say, 10,000 subscribers. They're going to be like, yo, how'd you do this? Like, they're going to ask you questions. They're going to ask for advice. They're going to want to know how you did it. And from that time, from 1 year or the first day, you did nothing different except you worked your ass off every single day. And, like, I know I'm all over the place. I already said this. But as I was saying with the first, with the presentation thing, I remember sometimes I feel like the times I did the best on presentations was when I came into the room and I thought to myself, no one here can tell me what to do. No one here, like, this is negative. This is really, like, kind of like, I don't know if this is the best personality or, like, what is it called? Not personality, like mentality. But I thought to myself, I don't care what anybody thinks. I don't care if anyone's judging me. These people are insignificant to me. And I don't mean that they're worse than me, but they don't mean anything to me. If I die tomorrow, they're not going to care. So why would I care about what they have to say? They're all insignificant to me. Act like you're presenting to nobody. And those times when I did that, I had the best presentations. I spoke the loudest. I was the most confident. And even if I stuttered or my presentation itself wasn't the best in terms of its material, I still did good. I had good results because people saw, okay, wow, he's really confident. And you see this all the time. There's people, public speakers, that say the most basic things, but since they say it in such confidence, you're like, wow, he knows what he's talking about. You could think this video, for instance, that I have so much compassion and confidence in my voice and what I'm saying, and I'm moving my hands and I'm doing this and that, and you're probably moved by this message. But if I was like, Yeah, so today you'd be like, yo, this guy's no confidence in what he's saying. Like, let me click off the video. So, like, really, genuinely, fake it till you make it until your fakeness becomes your reality. Peace.